Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, which will be a fireside chat discussion with Mitto on the topic of the future of the wholesale messaging business. So the wholesale messaging space is shifting faster than ever. I think you will agree with me on that. With new technologies, tougher regulations, smarter fraud, and everyone claiming to have global reach. So the questions are, what's real, what's the hype, and what's next? So we'll address these questions on our fireside chat today, a discussion with Mitto. We'll talk about the trends, tackle the tough question, and explore how real players such as yourself can stand out and stay ahead. So let's get the show on the road. Let's get started. I would like to welcome Evgeniya Pikina. She's VP Business Development at Mitto. Evgeniya, welcome.
Hi, Isabelle, and hi, everyone. Thanks for
Are you
having
ready
me.
for our discussion today?
Always ready.
That's the right answer. So, Evgeniya, I always like to start with the beginning. Start with a big picture. What do you think are the more significant trends currently shaping the wholesale messaging landscape today?
Good question to start. As you mentioned in the beginning, people are talking a lot about the shifts, about the evolving of the messaging landscape, and I would like to point out several trends that are shaping it today and what people are discussing. Top of the day is fraud, fraud mitigation and security. There are more and more cases on daily basis, and the cases are becoming more sophisticated. Compliance and regulations, that's one of the big ones. And along with new channels, OTT channels, RCS, they are expanding, offer richer experience to the customers. AI, automation, we can speak a little bit about it and how it shapes the routing operations and fraud detection. And I would say direct connections, they are the kind of the importance of having it is increasing in the industry. And I guess enterprises are trusting you more when you have something to present and you have the direct relationship with mobile operators.
Okay. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. Sorry about that. I'm starting with putting you on the spot. If I ask you, what do you think is the biggest trend? If you had to choose one, what do you think is the one? I know there's one that each trend has a different impact for different reasons, but if there was one that you would choose as the biggest one, what would it be?
Well, I would say fraud still. All the rest, I mean, people can adapt and somehow solve this case when it comes to regulations or compliance, right? You can learn, you can educate your customers, etc. With fraud, with people being again, smarter and smarter in the ways how they perform the fraud, it's difficult to kind of catch up on it, and it's damaged the trust of messaging as a whole.
I agree with you. I think trust is like a moving target. You do something to solve some part of trust that's moving somewhere else. So it's like a never-ending evolution when it comes to fraud. Okay, so what about SMS? I mean, SMS, I think everyone's talking about it at the moment. Is it really, is it still holding its ground, or is it gradually being replaced by RCS and OTT messaging? What do you think?
Yeah, such a very usual question, right? And when I think when I just joined the industry, it was discussed in that days, I believe 8 years ago. People were saying SMS was dying. But I mean, if you look today, it's still here, right? It's still relevant. And I think it's remains the core channel for enterprise messaging, simply because it works on any device, it doesn't require any internet connection, right? It's globally, it's standardized. Though it has facing the challenges, right? It's starting from price increases from mobile operators, the fraud that we are discussing, gray routes, and also the shift to the multi-channel solutions, right? And new channels like RCS and OTTs. But if you, as you ask, is it replacing the SMS? I don't think so. I guess it's more it's sort of the complementary channels, right? Where enterprise requires just the broader and richer experience. But when it comes to critical messaging, I guess A2P SMS will be there for some time.
Okay, so if we look maybe, I like to look in people's crystal ball. If we look like in 5 years' time, we'll still see SMS as one of the top solutions for messaging.
I would say yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And we women, I mean, we have this vision, right? So I don't think we can be mistaken.
We're like, So
Exactly.
if we look at the regulatory framework, I think you mentioned that as one of the key trends. It's evolving across regions and differently across different regions. How are these changing, impacting the wholesale providers and how they operate?
Yeah, it's definitely changing the way how we have to operate, right, and how we have to deal with that. So it's more about maybe rethinking the routing strategies, right, to build some tools for sender ID registration or consent management. So it's not just sending the message as it was before, right? You need to meet the regional rules, the privacy standards, mobile operators policies. So and it only increases the operational costs, but not only, also the time with which you roll out new services. And I think yeah, I mean, just wholesale providers have to change their mindset from just being just deliver the message, but maybe more provide the educational advisory services to the customers and be helpers and help them to overcome these constraints.
Now, maybe you don't have an answer to that question, but it's a question I don't have an answer to myself. A lot of people are talking about self-regulation. Is it better if the operators self-regulate themselves, or is it better if regulators have the stronger presence since what's happening? Do you have a view on that? You may not, but I'm just curious.
It's good when you have a self-regulation, right? And when it comes also to the person, I guess. But I think people, as well as probably companies, can be biased by many factors. And so I don't know if you heard what I was saying about self-regulation. It's good when person and the company can regulate themselves. But I think that people can be biased, right, as well as companies,
Of course,
driven
yes.
by different aspects. So maybe it's good to have some regulatory body that impose rules and policies that people can follow.
Okay. So I guess the people watching us, most of them probably offer messaging. Most everyone is offering messaging at the moment. It's a very saturated ecosystem. How can true wholesale providers differentiate themselves from resellers who claim to offer global reach?
Oh, global reach, yeah, which is not possible, and we all know it, right? And yeah, we see. I mean, it's the biggest headache also in the industry today, because every day smaller companies appear in the market, small and not known, and they claim direct routes, best-in-class quality, low rates. So, but when you go and have a look at it and have a closer look, you realize that not the worst thing if they're just reselling someone routes, right? But the worst thing is that they provide some, I don't know, alternative for gray routes or even trash part of the traffic to maintain low costs, right? Or, I mean, they will be involved in the fraud cases. So it takes time to realize it and find out who is good, who is bad. And my advice will be to ask them questions, right? And to ask tough and probably straightforward questions. And if they're comfortable to answer you, then you can proceed. If they are hesitating, then probably better to skip and focus on bigger partners. I mean, not bigger, but your trusted partners, right? Who you can rely on and be sure that they are offering you what they are saying, right? And you are getting what they are saying.
Okay. But how can providers differentiate? Let's say they don't differentiate on global reach, because obviously a lot of people say they have it and it's not true. How can they differentiate now in today's? Is it by pricing, quality, no fraud, no AIT? How do you think?
Yeah,
What do you think is the most?
Combination of all. I mean, price and quality will be always there, right? But I think the compliance and regulation takes a big part of it, and providers who cannot give you the answers to some simple questions like how to register the sender ID or what documents you need to provide in order to make sure your message will be delivered in this or that network. This is the big part. Yeah, I guess if you've built this knowledge of and you're tracking and monitoring the changes in the market, that's what will help you to be ahead of others. Yeah, fraud mitigation, I guess, is quite important, and to create tools to spot it, to analyze patterns, to collect the data for future cases, right? To be proactive in spotting future cases. That's important, but also maybe also the communication with your customer, right? That builds your trust, right? And with the kind of approach, I would say not to have not a transactional approach and transactional sale, rather than have an advisory and maybe helping conversation with your customer and collaboration. That's, I think, what differentiate. And yeah, direct connectivity, I guess now is gaining traction. I mean, to have the direct connectivity is becoming important because enterprises are focusing on quality rather than sometimes even at cost, at higher cost.
That's okay. I think that's interesting. Before I continue, I just want to say to the audience, if you have any questions, there's a new Q&A section at the bottom. Please ask any question. Evgeniya is here to answer any of your questions. The harder, the better. No, just joking. Be kind to Evgeniya. But if you have any question that you want to ask Evgeniya, you can write it and I will see them. So I guess we haven't talked about Mitto yet. We talked about the industry in general. So we've talked about differentiating. What sets Mitto apart from such competitive and often commoditized wholesale messaging market? What makes you different to the competition, do you think?
Okay, so thank you for asking that. And I think I covered a little bit when replying to your previous question, because that's what I have in mind. And maybe to mention, when I started with communication, I would like to mention the people who work at Mitto. We are I would say we're a grown up and mature company, but we are very lean and agile still. So, with people who are experts in what they are doing, some of them are working for more than 10 years in the industry. So they are also located in different part of the world. This is important nowadays because it's not about the global coverage. It's more about knowing the market from inside and out. So you have people who are interacting with local players, with mobile operators, and then they bring insight to the company. We collect this data and actually collecting the huge knowledge base of what's going on in the regions and with players. And so I would say this matter. I mean, people matter a lot. Then yeah, compliance, regulation, and advisory approach. That's what we've mentioned. Direct connectivity, of course, I was saying that just because Mitto originally it was focused on mobile connections and getting more the better. And I think finally it provides us some return on investment that we've done previously. And yeah, of course, we're not stopping. I would say our tools that are AI driven, the monitoring system that constantly checking the quality of the service and the fraud mitigation tools, as well as analytics. We invest a lot in analytic tools that provide the data that help us to forecast the trends, to see what is efficient, what is not, and where we would need to apply change in order to bring better results.
Okay. So I guess we've been talking for almost 15 minutes now. We haven't mentioned AI. So I'm gonna correct that mistake.
I was waiting for it. So I mentioned it myself, you see.
Yes. So I guess AI is being discussed by everyone and everywhere, and we will discuss it today, of course. So how do you think it's transforming the business in terms of routing, fraud prevention, cost efficiency? How is it impacting the business today and into the near future, do you think?
It's a big part of any industry, I guess. These days, even between human interactions, people are using AI more and more. I still think I would say I consider it as a helper to, like, as a tool that's helping you. It's not replacing any, again, human interactions, and I'm very much for human interactions. But definitely it can help wholesale providers to set them apart, or to just succeed in their business, right? And routing, as you mentioned, routing optimization is one of the aspects that AI can help by provides real-time data, and based on this data, the routing can select it's a dynamic routing. It can select the proper connection to deliver your message with the balance of price and obviously compliance, right? Fraud prevention, many tools that analyzing so much data and spot unusual traffic behaviors, collect suspicious patterns that can be again used in the future. What else?
Is this something that you use at Mitto today? Do you use AI already to try to be, well, not try to be the leader in the industry, not try to succeed in being the leader in the industry? Is that something you're already?
Best. I would say, yeah.
Yes. Is that something that you use already?
Yeah, on a daily basis. I mean, all these tools that I mentioned. But again, why I said about the human touch, because these fraud prevention tools, they can help you in identifying the fraud, but sometimes it can be a little late. So you'd spot it and you use this data for probably future cases. But in order to spot it in the real time, I would say we have dedicated team who is focused on it 24/7 and trying to spot, like, at the very first seconds of this fraud popping up. So AI in combination with the personal and human touch, that I think the perfect combination for success. It's not working either or, I guess, these days.
So another topic close to my heart is partnership. I truly believe that partnership is at the core of success. It has been, but more and more going forward in the business. So what is Mitto's philosophy when it comes to building long-term collaborative partnerships?
Yeah, that's actually, thank you for this question, because this is something that reflects very much with me. As I said, I'm very much about the relationship, collaboration, and partnership. And I guess the teams at Mitto also are focusing on it. And the transparency is the key these days. without being transparent and honest and pursue more collaborative approach rather than just selling approach, helps you to build long-lasting relationship with customers. And sometimes it doesn't usually doesn't always bring very fast return on investment, right? But it helps you stay longer and work with your partner, with your customer in the future, right? So and that's why, again, all the tools that helps us with the knowledge, with information that we can provide to the customer, with the being transparent when it comes to do you have direct connection there? How do you route? What maybe other channels you can use to enhance the performance of the route, or just simply have a conversation with your customer about what they are struggling with, or what they are looking for in terms of partnership. What are their requirements in terms of, okay, how often the communication should be, if they would like to share their requirements, right, that you can apply to your daily work and come up with the proposals that are more tailored to their needs, rather than just sending push lists.
Okay.
So that, yeah.
So Evgeniya, I've got a question from the audience. And surprise, surprise, about AI. So one of the participants is asking, do you think AI really is something that helps the industry, or is actually helping increase fraud? Is it a tool that helps the fraudster more than the industry to fight fraud? I think it's quite, I'm not sure there's an answer to that, but I wonder what you think about that.
Yeah, it's actually a good question, because when I was saying about the tools that are preventing frauds, and then the fraudsters who are always coming up with something new and some more sophisticated, so this sophistication probably comes from AI, right? And yeah, that's a good one. I mean, AI is just the part of our lives, right? So we cannot do anything about it. So it will be there anyway. So just who will be smarter in using AI to, I don't know, create the fraud or to fight the fraud. I think
yes.
that's the point.
So we have another question from Frederick Fischel. He's asking us about a topic we haven't talked about, but it's quite interesting, I think. What is your vision about ID mobile API versus SMS A2P as an alternative channel for enterprises? Is there a space for carrier wholesalers on this stream, according to you?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking that in our questions, I mean, we didn't discuss anything about API networks, and even though it's discussed a lot in the market as well. So the question is, will there be space for it? Or
what is your vision about ID mobile APIs versus SMS A2P as an alternative channels for enterprise? And then the other part of the question is there a space for carriers to play in, to have a role in that?
So I would say I don't have a very straightforward answer to that, because this is something that we are discussing also internally with my colleagues, and I think nowadays it's just a stage of getting knowledge about it and educate yourself on it. And again, yeah, we are speaking with enterprise customers who are planning to do that. I think we all know the names. And there is a space for it. I definitely believe that there is a space for it. But when it happens, we don't know. It's just, if you remember RCS, we started to talk about RCS so many years ago. And it's still in the phase of very early adoption, right? So it's not adopted by every market, every mobile operator. So that would be a challenge also for API, because it is something completely different, right? So there are new players that will appear definitely in the market who are helping, enabling it. This is the shift of technology. If RCS or OTT, it's still kind of messaging idea, right? Messaging mindset. API will be, network API will be something different.
Okay.
Not sure if I answered the question, but this is the early stage of
Okay.
it. So yeah.
Okay. So I like to towards the end of my discussions, I like to look into the future. So if we look in 2 to 3 years' time, for the people watching us, what do you think they should focus on to remain relevant and resilient in the messaging business?
I think we've discussed many things today, which are important. I would focus on the long-term strategy for sure, and try to be adaptive and organize your company for spotting the future trends, right, and trying to build the company to navigate those challenges. Invest in direct connections with the mobile operators, because even if we are talking about a network API, that will help as well at this point. Continue improving your product portfolio with RCS, OTT channels, for sure. Fraud, I mean, we cannot not mention it. Take it seriously, I would say. And become a reliable partner to your customers. So maybe be more, try to be an advisor and helper rather than a seller. And with this collaborative approach with your customer, you can hear for what their requirements are, right? That can also help you to grow together.
And I think the last point for me would be my choice. I think that would be the most important, well, at least at the top. Be, as you say, bring value to your customers, not just selling, but actually be a partner with your customer to help them grow in whatever they need from you. I think that's quite important. And now I'm going to finish on a fun question. I'm going to give you a magic power and you could do anything. Okay. If you could do anything, what would be the one thing that you would want to change in the messaging business? What would it be if you could change one thing?
Just one.
Yeah,
It's
just
not
one.
like I would like to change the whole maybe to change this. I guess some of the players these days, they have very short term, the mindset of the short gains. So maybe I would change this part a little bit, because with all this grave route fraud, I mean, yes, you can probably earn money right now, right here. However, it also damaged already the trust of mobile operators, the enterprise customers. So to rebuild it, I think players should think a little bit towards long-term strategies, and then messaging will be trusted, reliable, and respected. So something in the ideal world.
I think that's a very good one. I think I agree with you completely. And maybe it's the answer to my final question. You will let me know. But all the people watching us today, what is the final message you want to leave them with when they leave the call and they go to their Easter or their long weekend? What is the thing that you want them to remember?
Be I don't know, be cleaner, be smarter, be helpful. That's what I thought about. Maybe it's summarizing all what we've talked about, and combine. There are many technological innovations, right? So I would advise to combine those innovations still with a human partnership to stay ahead others, or just stay together with others and continue the growth and bringing value to the industry.
Again, I think it's a great way to finish the discussion. It went so quickly, 30 minutes. I can't believe it's already done. It went like this, and it was super interesting. I think we covered so much ground as well. I think there was a bit of everything for everyone watching. Thank you so much, Evgeniya. And I guess you're going to ITW next. Is your next stop?
Yeah, US is one of the one of the favorite countries right now for me. So, and the Mitto team will be present at ITW in May. So happy to catch up and continue the conversation.
Thank you so much, Evgeniya, and I'll see you at ITW.